Are you ever concerned that whether it's when we're talking about green hydrogen or even when we're talking about proportional representation and electoral reform, are you ever concerned that when there's a good idea and we're so close to the finish line that nefarious actors essentially bastardize the thing that we're aiming for and end up making the situation worse than before?
Well, I think you always have to worry about that. I mean, there's a lot of life is like that. But one of the arguments people have always used against proportional representation was, well, you progressive parties want it, but what if we elect these right wingers and we have like a right wing fascist government that forms? And I've always said, you know what? I would much rather have a few seats in a legislature that represents that viewpoint, and especially if that's the democratic will of the public. Um, but what I find far more dangerous is when those elements take over a mainstream party, kind of like what we're seeing south of the border right now, and then have the kind of power they have. So I would much rather have that power distributed, in a legislature where you're hearing all voices, even voices I fundamentally disagree with, because we want that reflected in democracy. And I think what I find far more dangerous is to have a mainstream party taken over by those forces and then having the kind of power that you're seeing the Trump administration bring a wrecking ball to government in the U.S. And now, the trade wars that it looks like we're going to have to be dealing with here in Canada and around the world.